Hey everybody, welcome back. 7 losses in a row. But I ain't stressing. True friends, one question. Where were you when I was keeper? KCV6DB3F. I was gonna say 5 instead of F. So our last Lilith run, we won. Was it good? You know, I might have been a little bit insufferable on it. I can own that when need be. We did also get garbage. And look at that, we already got an item that's not garbage. So, gray skies are gonna clear up. Please tell me it works. It doesn't work with Incubus. Oh, old NL, blood pressure would be rising. Start to feel the telltale tightening of the blood vessels in the throat. Pressure in the head starting to mount. New NL, hey, keep a copacetic, my dudes. Hang 10. I'm going to assume that the red tier does more damage, even if that assumption pains me to make because I can't necessarily say with authority that that's the case. And we'll move along. Dude, Tinted Rock, really. It is okay. It is weird being not the keeper. I want this key if possible. I think this should work. It's weird not being the keeper and caring about Tinted Rocks the way you're supposed to. Caring about hearts the way you're supposed to. In a way, like, you know, I'm setting myself up for failure by even saying this. But it feels like this run should be too easy. Even if we end up getting largely just, you know, not that fantastic items, we should be in a dominant position. If we get even a couple of items that help us get to that next level, I mean, we have more than 2 HP, and we can get more than 2 HP. We can take the myriad deals with the devil that appear, and we don't need to press the spacebar on every single room just to see if we live. Things should be okay, I hope. Crackjacks. Yo. You know, far be it for me to suggest that it's an insult that lead pencil doesn't work, but hookworm does. Because probably the programmers at Nicholas just forgot, is my guess. They say, oh, you know, we're about to ship the game. Anything else? Oh, did you guys make sure that lead pencil works with Lilith? Oh, too late. It's out the door. Okay, fair enough. You know, I've done that myself. Submitted assignments without commenting my code. I understand the importance of comments. I will say, sometimes depending on your professor, they make you comment code in a way that is egregious and then tell you that's how it works in Enterprise without actually working in Enterprise themselves. But I digress. Relatable memes. Public, int, void, get value, comments, returns value. If you want me to write it, 9 times out of 10 I'll write it. But sometimes I just go, you know what? No thank you. For now, though. Deal with the devil, and I don't know if I've ever been more excited for a deal with the devil than the one that we're likely to get right now. We've had so many deals with the devil we were not able to take. Brimstones, mom's knives, cumulative guppy items inaccessible to us as a result of the fact that we were playing as the keeper. Then the one time we took one, the game was like, boop, here's Swallowed Penny. If you hadn't taken Sack Dagger, you'd probably be winning right now. This is a chance for us to get some redemption. And you know what? The game's been making shots across our bow to the point where I've got a new attitude meant to deal with it. New rules by Dua Lipa. 1, don't pick up the phone. You know he only calls you when he's drunk and alone. What's rule number 1 for Isaac? 1, don't get tilted on the basement. You could get you could get better items a little later just in case, man. Look at that. That's pretty good. Gimpy, lots of red hearts we can't use, and hopefully spirit hearts we will be able to. This cat, it looks like it wants to jump on this computer. Jump, coward, you're only going to kill a video. We should definitely take store credit with us. And the death card, I mean, could be useful in a variety of areas. Hello, my son. Alright, that's my fault. I was looking at the most wonderful creature ever brought into existence. both of my cats equally. And my wife, but in like a different way. And we should just not go down that road. This is huge. Okay, so more options, very strong to begin with. Give me the box of trinkets. I think it's better than box of friends. No joke, sincere, 100%. Half price items in aggregate, please. Doesn't appear like it. Because we're not getting a trinket out of Mom's box of trinkets. We're getting almost every trinket out of Mom's box of trinkets. Plus, eventually we could just say, no thanks, I'm done with it. It's also a better item to use every time it's available. I will level with you. You know, we got a lot of items that are potentially beneficial for us long term. Not a whole lot of stuff that's beneficial for us immediately. But that could change. Probably not here. And probably not anywhere on this floor. But every day for the rest of your life. Okay. Very hard to balance this guy. I think we got him trapped. In hindsight, I very much wish we did not do this room, but we got this guy dead to rights right now, and hey, that's 1/4 of a trinket. Mostly I'm excited about the fact that we have Deal with the Devil precedent. To have that and be excited about it is a foreign feeling after playing Keeper runs for the better part of a week here. What is the better part of a week? You know, people say that, you know, for the better part of a month, for the better part of a week. The better part of a day is the period from, like, the 1 hour right after you finish work is the sweetest period of the day. It feels like you got all the free time in the world. You're like, I don't have to go to bed for 3 or 4 hours. Well, you don't have to go to bed ever, but, you know, for the quality of life that you'd get, you'd want to go to bed at some point, presumably. You get what I'm saying, I think. Well, you know what? We have an item room left on this floor. Let's not assume we're not going to get anything else useful here. Forgot that we had not gone to it yet. What's the better part of a week? Friday, 6 p.m. until Sunday at 6 p.m. That's the better part of a week. What's the better part of a month? Now you get into some difficult sort of... I think it depends on a few things. What's the best part of my month? It depends on the month. You know, if the month has a holiday, that's typically the better part of a month. I understand, by the way, you might disagree with me about my rankings of times. For example, if you don't work Monday to Friday, perhaps you work 6 days a week. Maybe you work 7 days on, and then, you know, 3 days off or something like that. I don't know the rules. But for me, I'll give you the honest answers at least. What's the better part of a month? I don't know, like the second to third week is pretty good. You know, do you take the active that's good, but you're not going to keep it, but it could give you something good immediately, or you take the passive that's not necessarily good at all, but might be able to save you later? I think it's an easy choice as much as it pained me to make it. Better part of a month, you know, the middle of the month is nice. That's when you get paid. Both Twitch and YouTube pay out in like the same, you know, 2 or 3 days. So that's, you know, if you're going to say payday, that's a big part of it right there. Things come due at the end of the month. So it's nice to be in the middle and be like, I can just focus on work, I guess. I don't know. I'm overthinking it now, but I'm trying to, you know, that's what I do on the show. I assess idioms. Or try to, at least. I'm trying not to let it get into my head that we just entered the second floor at 8 minutes and 27 seconds into this run. I think that, you know, with Mom's box of trinkets, we got every available opportunity. Don't forget, thank you, Gimpy. Huge payout. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to be gracious, you know. I really think with more options, we got a real good chance to pick up at least some stuff. Look at those dodges. To pick up at least some stuff that we like from our item rooms. Now, Lazrags is not amongst them. What do you get when you're not Lazarus and you respawn with Lazrags? I think you still get the damage bonus. You still get anemia. I'm not sure if you get the luck upgrade. So it is still like... It would be preferable to do it. Although, would we still have Incubus or would we become Lazarus at that point? I actually don't know the answer to your question. And by your question, I mean, obviously that was my question, but That was very close to taking some damage. There we go. Just gonna be a slow roll here. Slow ride, take it easy. You know, controversial opinion, not everybody's going to agree with me on this one, obviously, but I think Slow Ride might be Foghat's most popular song. I got some more controversial opinions for you. You ready? Apples can be many colors. Red, green, a combination of the two. Sometimes yellow, but I don't want to aggravate anybody with my apple preferences. When I was a child, I loved golden, delicious apples. I think it's because they're the sweetest apple, or at least the sweetest apple they had in the grocery stores when I was a kid. Apple technology has gone through a lot of upgrades since then. That's only like half a joke. Like, did you know the Honeycrisp apple was actually, like, that's not an apple that appears in the wild. That was created via, I don't want to call it genetic engineering because it kind of has, I suppose, connotations for some people, but... You know, that was deliberately created in a laboratory at the University of Minnesota. Look it up. It wasn't like last year, but, you know, it was like recent in the historical context, at least. Please, thank you. Can I find the enemy and finish this room? It's really tough to target you with Incubus. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know what any of these trinkets do. This is a tough one. That was Bloody Lust, wasn't it? In my head, I thought it was anemic. And I was like, well, we already got anemic. Bloody Lust would obviously be better. And I actually think, you know, and I was going to bring this up. I think Ghost Pepper might do nothing for us. Dare I suggest... That might be one of the very, very strange situations where it would probably be better. Dude, I definitely want Champion Belt. That might be one of the very strange situations where it would be better for me to not have theirs options, or more options. If I don't have more options, I pick up Anemia, maybe it's Bloody Lust. If I do have it, I outthink myself, end up taking Ghost Pepper, yet another tier effect that does nothing with Incubus, and leads to me getting 15 comments that are like, well, it's intended to do nothing with Incubus because Incubus is already strong. So, yeah, okay. That's, whatever you say. I don't believe it. Well, I work at the company. I still don't believe it, okay? The beauty of being a YouTuber is in the face of all reason, I can I can find people that agree with me no matter how ignorant my opinions are, and I really value that in this section of the industry. So I try to insulate myself from logical people who disagree with me, and instead only highlight those who are being unreasonable. As a result, to the unlearned human mind, it makes me appear to be a more credible source, because the only people who disagree with me are insane, and you're not insane, are you? Well, obviously you agree with me then. Ergo, follow my Patreon. This is not a lashing out at anyone in particular. It's a lashing out at everyone in particular. That's resin. Where you're standing right now is resin. And also a genius strategy. Okay? Now we have well, assuming it works, we have yes it does, good trinket. I can get down with this. This is as good as a good passive. So... It's not a 10 out of 10 trinket, but it's something we can start to hang our hat on, you know? Yes, that's right. It's one of those weird hooks that you put in the front of your house that says, you know, house is where you live, a home is where your heart lives, or something like that. We had, as a kid, my house didn't have those, but my grandparents' house always had stuff like that. I mean, like, you'd be taking a poop and then across the bathroom, there was like a sign with the Lord's Prayer on it for some reason. And you're like, you know what? It's a good way to memorize the Lord's Prayer. I can't deny it. What I remember about pooping at my grandparents' house, this is a bizarrely intimate segment now, but there was a very strong storm, maybe when I was like 8 or 9, and somehow a frog ended up, it was only like a 2-story house, but a frog ended up in the skylight in my grandparents' bathroom. And every time I pooped, I could like look up and see that frog there. And it stayed there for forever. At least, like, the last time I was in that house, it was still there. So we have respawned as Lazarus. We're just going to try to have a fun run at this point. I'm not going to, you know, use emotion and bring up to you that, you know, this is yet another run where... And, you know, could have taken Bloody Lust, but it's yet another run where, you know, we didn't pick up basically any meaningful damage improvements, and dare I suggest that a couple of the, you know, a couple of the items that we had access to lied to us, like deliberately lied to us, and we're like, hey, this does this, except it doesn't because you only have Incubus. I'm just going to leave those there, and you can decide for yourself how you feel about that, okay? We're going to try to win as Lazarus, just because at this point, you know, I'd like a win. I forgot what winning feels like. And, like I said, I think we'll be too overpowered. I have a theory to test, by the way, and it ain't a game theory. First off, please give me HP here. But if we drop Mom... Well, we can't test it. We need a spacebar item to test it. What I'm thinking is that if I drop Mom's box of trinkets, we will still have a 6 rate of fire. Which would be very, very, very nice. Would mean we get all the benefits out of this trinket. Like, what I'm getting at, I guess, is I don't think the effects of the cancer trinket are doubled. You know what is doubled? The number of useful items we've gotten from item rooms now that we can actually use Ghost Pepper occasionally and, you know, lead pencil on the regular. That's very exciting. It's almost like this is the amount of damage this run should have had to begin with, but again, new NL. He's working on self-righteous anger. I think that's the most seductive kind of anger, you know? Probably everybody, this might surprise you, I'm not a really angry person. Am I irritable? Not in public, as weird as that sounds, but like, I have the patience of a saint dealing with idiocy in public. On the show, I targeted and let it get to me a little bit, no question. However, what I will say is, thank you, Succubus. That's KMB in Conception coming through in the clutch. You know, new NL, he's not letting it get to him. I forgot what we were talking about. New NL, you know, he takes a step and he internalizes the anger before he goes to it. That's what I was, okay. I was going to say I think that's the most seductive kind of anger. Because I think everybody has situations in their life where, you know, you get angry about something, and then someone with a cooler head goes, what are you angry about? And you go, the freaking... They put the cheese on the bottom part of the patty instead of the top part of the patty. And then they go, well, why are you being weird about it? It's okay, like, don't worry about it. And you go, all right, you're right. Okay, it turns out I was being irrational. I'd emotionally gotten myself primed for combat for whatever reason, and I recognize that's just a vestige of my evolutionary history, and now I'm ready to talk like a civilized human being again. But it's like righteous anger is seductive because it feels kind of good, and then also you're in the right. And that's, you know, I feel like we could have a lot of righteous anger over this run, and in fact our past, all of our Lilith runs that we've done so far as well. To not get any kind of DPS improvement in the first few floors, it's the kind of thing you could get a little upset by. But I'm gonna let it. Okay, so it is a rate of fire down. I will keep Mom's box then, just because it's fun. I'm gonna let it roll off of me like water off of a duck's back. I believe that's the expression. I never understood that expression, except that ducks lived in the water. Until recently, I was informed that ducks have feathers, obviously, that bead water for them. So it's like, you know, they're like little pipes that just direct the water away from the duck. Apparently, at least. This don't shoot the messenger. This is what I've been told from the television program Modern Family. Hey, tractor beam. That's pretty good as well. Now, I'll tell you, I gotta be diplomatic about this subject. First, if you haven't seen Modern Family, it's a ABC sitcom about, you know what, this time we're gonna take diplopia and we're gonna use it later. It's an ABC sitcom about what it, you know, it's a family-oriented sitcom. However, you know, families in the 2010 and beyond might look a little bit different than the nuclear family of, you know, yesteryear, and that doesn't make them any less lovable, right? So, you know, the patriarch of the family is an older gentleman who's been divorced and has married his sweetheart, played by Sofia Vergara from Colombia. It's a little bit unusual, and he's got 3 kids, and one of the kids is in a family that's relatively normal, and then you get the idea. It's a cast of kooky characters, but they all love each other is the thing. So the thing that's weird about Modern Family, and again, I'm not trying to insult the people involved in the production of the show. The first few seasons, well, it's a vestige. There's 2 things. It's a vestige of when it came out, because it's that Parks and Rec sort of mockumentary style that at the time, I feel like, Parks and Rec, The Office, you kind of just, nobody asks questions. You're just like, it's a fresh form of content, Now, watching a show with a mockumentary style, you're like, oh, you're enjoying a television program from 10 years ago. Like, it seems so strange to me to see why is this family being interviewed again? I don't get it, but, I'm not besmirching the good name of The Office, UK or US, by the way. Like them both. Maybe even love them both. But, I'm just saying, it feels a little dated now that they have these weird confessionals where they talk to the camera. But secondarily, when it started, it's like they had a message. It was clever. And now they're on, season 10, and you're just like, dude, come on. Hang it up. But they keep coming out with more DLC. Wait, did I? Okay, so what I mean is, there were, the show had many child actors. They had an actor, probably at the inception of the show, they had, 2 9-year-old actors, and then a 15-year-old actor and a 12-year-old actor. And then early on, yeah, we'll take fruitcake here. We could have doubled them, but oh good, free holy water. Early on, one of the couples adopts a young girl, so they had a maybe 5 or 6-year-old actor. But here's the thing: when you hire a child actor, you don't know what you're gonna get when they become an adult. And I gotta tell you, without being rude to the now adults who were once child actors, I don't think they're the actors that you would choose if you got a chance to go back today. So they hired this 5-year-old girl to act in the show, and they were probably like, what if she sucks at acting when she gets older? And they're like, well, you think the show's gonna run for 10 seasons? And now they're on season 10. And I'm not saying she's a bad actor necessarily. I'm just like, you're just stuck with whoever you hired, because it's not like you can change actors. I mean, Fresh Prince did it, but that's because there's 3 people cared about on that whole show, and Aunt Viv ain't one of them, no offense. Power pill. Hey. So now they got and it's weird because it's the kids are at an age where several seasons ago they should have gone off to college, and they're still kind of sticking around. Now, those Modern Family purists out there will be like, well, they did go to school. Yeah, I know, but they had a conceit for every single one of them to keep them on the show. It was like, oh, one of them goes to school and I dropped out. And then one of them goes to school and is like, I can't hack it. I decided to go to the school that's just down the street instead of going to the one that I wanted to that was further away. And I mean, I get it. You got to keep the show going, but maybe this is a sign that it's time. People always talk about respecting those shows that don't overstay their welcome. The classic example is Breaking Bad versus The Walking Dead, cough cough. Breaking Bad was hey, we got 5 seasons of story, we got 5 seasons of episodes. That's what's coming out. It told the story with a distinct beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, sitcoms are a little bit different. Most sitcoms don't have an arc like that. They just keep having the 2 main characters almost fall in love and kiss, and then eventually the network goes, well, you're canceled, and they go, okay, now they kissed and they got married. Will they or won't they? Not every show has done that. Famously, How I Met Your Mother, sort of different, but anyway, you get the point. But I gotta tell you, it's Modern Family. It's not like they're doing the Iliad. People, they turn it on Wednesday nights. They have a couple sensible chuckles. It's not that my wife really likes the show. I really like the first few seasons of it. I'm content to watch it now and then when she finds herself in the mood for it. But, I guess I'm not gonna... Well, they're not true auteurs, okay? If they're making a... Modern Family should have had it as Cameron should have been killed at the end of season 3, and then... that leads Mitchell to hard drug use, and, eventually Alex goes to work for Doctors Without Borders and realizes that, you know, life's not always as cushy as it seems in Southern... No, it's not like that. It's like, you know, eventually one of the actors is going to be like, I've got enough money. And then the whole show is going to be like, we're over. And that's fair, I guess. I gotta tell you, you know, there's like two... I don't want to say classes of actors. You know, there's like two types of actors, though, right? There's like your... Joaquin Phoenix, Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't know, I'm struggling to put Bryan Cranston into this camp, because obviously, like, his portrayal of Walter White, one of the greatest television performances of all time. Even this, I don't think, well, it's definitely not worth diplopia-ing. Let's check this. It would not give us Bookworm, and none of the books are that good. We should still pick them up, I guess, But then he's also been in stuff. He was in Godzilla. I'm not trying to say you can't be like a serious actor and be in Godzilla, but, you know, has Daniel Day-Lewis ever been in Godzilla? I don't think so. Has Daniel Day-Lewis ever played opposite James Franco in a movie about his daughter falling in love with James Franco despite him being quite the crazy character? I don't believe so. But, you know, I'm talking about even like your Leonardo DiCaprios, you know, they get in high prestige, award-winning films. And then there's your actors that are like, it's a job. And I think that if I were an actor, statistically, I mean, you'd be lucky to be in the it's a job camp, right? Like, that's just the way she goes. Joker, 2 of clubs. Like, if you're in the it's a job camp, maybe you harbor feelings. I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, I would really love to be Daniel Day-Lewis. Or maybe you're like, dude, I'm making like, I work like 13-hour weeks on a show that millions of people like. And I make like $3 or $4 million a year and it owns. I don't even make up my lines. People make them up for me. I just say them on the screen. It's the greatest job you could ever imagine. I think I would probably... I prefer to be in that working camp, you know? Be one of those... I don't want to be Nicolas Cage. You gotta say no to some things. It's like YouTube sponsorship offers. But, you know, you're on a show. It's been on the air for 15 years. Keep it up. Like, you know who I would want to be? Is the narrator for Forensic Files. There are, like, thousands of episodes. And he's an iconic part. Like, if they replace the narrator, people would be up in arms. And all he has to do is go... What they didn't count on was that the evidence they needed rested right under their footsteps. You know, ironically, or perhaps coincidentally, or just conveniently, we actually do need the negative path, so let's do it. The evidence they were looking for got them in a sticky situation. You know, it's like a pun related to the evidence, and, you know, that's when you find the evidence in, like, it turns out they preserved the hair of the victim in a jar of local honey. But this sweet substance turned out to be quite sour for our perpetrator. It's my dream job. I mean, apart from this. But, like, that job would also be pretty sweet. I think, at least. I thought I could make it out of there. So this run, it has a genuine shot. I mean, a lot of its benefit is coming from Fruitcake right now. A lot of its benefit is coming from Tractor Beam. Well, that's scary. And Diplopia is kind of this latent potential that we're hoping we can unleash a little bit later. We would love, you know, if we could raise our rate of fire. I know it's going to sound insulting because we did have Cancer Trinket Mom's box of trinkets, but, you know, 6 rate of fire, it could get a little better. Mostly like a raw damage increase, something we've been asking for so much. You might think I'm needy, but really what's happening is that we're just not getting as many as we would on an average run for like 6 or 7 runs in a row. Seems statistically unlikely, but hey, we do a lot of runs. That variance, you know, it clumps from time to time. Or as Robert would say, Christmas with the clumps. But anyway. I think we're going to make it. It's looking pretty good. We got a great chance of the deal with the devil here. Don't freak out. I also think that Modern Family is still on the air because it's very popular with people over the age of 50. My parents, I don't know if they watch it anymore, because they got into Netflix, and now they watch, like, all these, like, Scandinavian crime shows. But, like, they're true crime nuts, just like I am now, because it's the best form of entertainment. So, we could duplicate this, but I don't want to duplicate this. I want to just take it, because I still think it's a bad use of Diplopia. And this one goes out to everybody who was like, hey, why don't you try saving Diplopia? Here we are. And I'm not being indignant about it. Genuinely, here we are. Hopefully we get a good chance to use it in the future. But they definitely, like, on a phone call with my parents once, probably in, like, 2013, they were like, have you seen this Modern Family show? It rules. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Let's just hope the kids grow up to be good actors. I guess it's also, like, the characters, I don't want to be, like, too rude about it, but on, like, a sitcom like that, you can't really enact, like, character change, right? Like, because week to week, it's just the same thing. But let me give you an example of how long Modern Family has been on the air, if you are not familiar with the show. I watched maybe, like, the first 4 seasons of Modern Family at my wife's beck and call, at her request. Maybe, like, season 4 or 5 or even 6, the old man has another child with Sofia Vergara. And that child was a baby for like 2 seasons. I caught an episode maybe 3 nights ago. They have cast a child in that role. So that's like, you're planning for the future. They're giving another child actor a job. And at this point, I wouldn't bet on that child actor not being on the show when he is an adult. He might make it. It's happened before. Though there's a few bright spots on that show, though. Anybody who's watched it, Ty Burrell, please put this man in more things. I have seen him in one other movie that I don't remember, and you know, it's one of those dangerous things. He's playing like a character so well he could easily be typecast. But I hope to see... I mean, he's like 30 years older than me, but I hope to see him have a long and fruitful career. He just seems like a very affable, Steve Carell-esque sort of gentleman. Speaking of which, how weird is it that we're like... You guys follow the periodicals? It's a lot of Hollywood talk. Stars and... Wait, no, the Stars and Stripes is different. Glitz and Glamour, that's the one. It's Hollywood talk. No, I thought Succubus would get you for sure. How weird is it that Steve Carell has gone from, like, The Daily Show to... And no, you're not thinking of... You thinking of Stephen Colbert. They were both on The Daily Show, you whippersnappers. I was watching Comedy Central when you were knee-high to a grasshopper. Anyway, he's gone from The Daily Show correspondent to a 40-year-old virgin to The Office... to now being like, oh, Steve Carell movie coming out? I didn't realize it was award season so soon. That guy is in a lot of good stuff. He's like a genuinely fantastic actor who also chooses great projects. I guess he was in Little Miss Sunshine like 12 years ago, so that's like a start for sure. It's a great movie. Don't forget about the Sufjan Stevens soundtrack. It might be just one song on the soundtrack. Still. Okay, things are getting modestly spooky. We should definitely make it through this floor. I know we said that last time we were on the Keeper run as well, but we should definitely make it through this floor. And particularly, I believe, at this time, because we're not the Keeper, I have no idea where we're going to use Diplopia. I guess with 1 luck, well, we might consider... There's a chance we could get items to drop. We could Diplopia them. But I don't really like that strat because it's mega freaking boring. Like, I basically fell asleep while I was saying it. So what I will definitely do instead, unless we find a more compelling option soon, is I will use it to get 8 chests on the start of the dark room. And if we don't get Guppy, then we'll just complain that the game owes us something and it has an unpaid debt. Yo, Dark Bomb. Thank you, Cambian Conception. Dark Bum. You don't have to give me spirit hearts, but it's encouraged. It would be really cool of you to do that, Dark Bum. Various other words go here. / to do. Write more lyrics to make the song relevant, Dark Bum. See, I just wanted to get to the chorus. Oh, that was dangerous. Okay. That wasn't really a telefrag. That was kind of my own fault. Not as much as that was. And we should just use our bombs, but it's kind of a novelty to just shoot the fires open instead. Ah, there's space for us. Oh, that's not where you want to be on dodges. But I think we made it happen. Okay, very, very important thing we could change to... This one simple tip will win you so many Isaac runs you won't believe number 7. Number 7 is stop standing close to enemies when you have fruitcake. It's very dumb of us to do this. It could only bring us pain. Huge. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Let's jam. Boo-doo, 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 boo-boo. Oh, that's right. Minasan, Ohio. I referenced an anime. Konnichiwa. Oh, he's done it. It's exactly the same way I got hit last time. It's not that big of a deal, because unlike last time, we actually have HP. But, you know, we should probably be doing a little bit of practicing our mojo for fighting these guys. Okay, we're good. That's something ticked off the post-it note. And you know, can't tell me nothing. I'm diploping right away. Broken Ankh? Why not? Curse of the Unknown? Potentially dangerous. Okay, so that's going to be 2 of those. Might as well take care of them right away. 6 spiders. 2 cursed items. Many of the same kind of pill. Power pills and lemon party. Well, this is obviously horrible, but if we're doing real talk, lemon party is pretty great. So Gimpy Dark Bum is kind of like, it's a good combination for us when our damage is not necessarily killing it. Again, this is gonna sound like I'm a little baby, and I could even say it in like a little baby voice. But you start to wonder when you've had, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say every Isaac run we've had lately has been default damage by the time we got to our final floor, but we've had so many runs lately that have been bereft of damage. High DPS, thankfully, but just totally bereft of, like, literally any damage upgrade. You start to go, what am I doing wrong? Because I don't think the game has changed too much, so I would just love to... I would love to have some insight in a non-judgmental way. Am I the victim of clumped variance? Am I doing something different to what I normally do? I don't know what it would be except like not getting some devil deals that I would otherwise like to get, but you know, it strikes me as like we're having a bad streak of luck, which is you know, it could be frustrating, I guess, but all I gotta do is keep my head down and wait for a return to the eventual, you know, normalcy of Isaac. And it's not like this run's bad. We're killing enemies in a non-offensively short time frame. Or offensively long, I should say. But it's seeing that 4.20 damage stat gets me a little tilted. For better or for worse. Now, as of right now, yeah, I don't know what I'm complaining about damage-wise. This is actually really good. But as of right now, we have an extremely great chance to kill, Alges? No. Extremely great chance to kill the boss. I was really hoping that was going to be it. Holy light, dude. So strong. All we need to do is find the boss. And if we find the boss, with the amount of HP we got right now, it's not even going to be close. Yara Rune, you know, a much better value proposition than Diplopia for us. Probably with a much better outcome as well. Yeah, but what you're supposed to do is, you know, like, use it there. That being said, it's hard to be mad about homing shots. We don't have a laser beam as a weapon, but it's pretty close. Thank you. I mean, we could Yara, no. Hold on. What's happening? I know that's where you do that to unlock the Forgotten, but I didn't know that room would still exist. I'm freaking out a little bit. We haven't done this floor a lot since the release of the Forgotten, to be fair, but still. Maybe I've just never noticed before. Completely plausible, by the way. And by plausible, I mean impossible. I'm very perceptible. Nothing would get by me. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it, etc., etc. Alright, we're gonna win. Just stack up a couple of Explosivo shots and watch the fireworks. So, all things considered, it's not the run we were looking for, but you gotta say it was a pretty okay run. Any run where you know, any landing you can walk away from is a good run. Any run where, you know, you didn't die to a stupid mistake on your own behalf, probably relatively strong as well. What do we get? Pandora's Box, great item. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It was a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!